Hey guys, I just came out of the studio and I'm clearly getting ready to go back in, hence this. But I wanted to do a quick video post. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm seeing a lot of talk on social media pages and on blogs about naming companies and branding and how to name your company and what to name your company and the strategies behind it, etc. And yesterday I saw a really long string of posts on the Facebook page of a group that I'm a part of, the Artisan Group, which is a phenomenal group for artisans. I was going to say artisans who make things, but I think that's redundant. But there are all kinds of phenomenally talented artisans who are members of this group who make everything from jewelry to stationery to journals to pens. I mean, you name it. It's a pretty incredible group. So if you do that sort of thing, you might want to look into them, the Artisan Group. At any rate, somebody had posted about the fact that she was thinking of renaming her company because she had named it something and then someone had advised her that maybe that wasn't great for search engine optimization and for people finding her. And she was thinking of completely renaming the company for that reason. And it got me thinking, because I have this conversation with a lot of people and I certainly went through it myself when I was naming my businesses, and I think that people tend to really overthink this. The name of a business is incredibly important, don't get me wrong. It's like the title of a book. It's really, really important. But I think there are people, one of whom I'm thinking of, who get truly paralyzed by this and can't make a decision and therefore like never name their company and therefore never start their company. So I think in the end, one of the most important things to realize is that people buy a brand. They don't buy a company. They buy a product. So think about all the companies out there that are doing amazingly well that have really weird names. Like Amazon. Like, who would have thought to name a company Amazon? Like, that's like a river in the, like, what? You know, or Old Navy, or The Gap, or Banana Republic. Like, what is that? I don't know. And incidentally, those three companies, the last three I mentioned, are all owned by the same parent company, but nevertheless. Or there's a local brand here in Phoenix that I love. It's a nail polish brand called Hopscotch. You know, again, Hopscotch, but they're very, very smart because the Hopscotch is their kids line, and then their parent line for moms is called Scotch. And every color is based on a drink made with Scotch. I'm thinking about getting into Scotch just because of that, but I love their product. So if we think about nail polishes, we have OPI, which I don't know, is it OPI or OP? Like, I don't even know. Who cares? But everybody knows who they are if you're into nail polish. Or Wet n Wild. Again, that does not convey the name of a nail polish company to me. That conveys something completely different. But everyone knows who they are. No one stops to think about it. Or like Butter. They're a new organic, I don't want to say organic, but a more natural line of nail polish that's carried at Ulta, etc. Great line. Butter, you know. So at the end of the day, people become that you just say the name of a company, and that's what you're working towards. So don't get yourself so paralyzed with the name of your company that you can't move forward into building the brand behind your company. So a couple things to think of, however, when you are naming your company. Number one, you want the name to reflect you and your brand. So if you are creating if you're a cute company, if you consider yourself a cute company and you're creating cute stuff for cute people, then you can have a cute name. But if you consider yourself to be a more, I don't know, maybe the demographic you're going after is a little more conservative, a little higher brow, then maybe you don't want to call your company like Flowers and Ladybugs. I don't know. I mean, that's just a thought I have. So sometimes just using your own name, or like my jewelry line is Elizabeth Lyons Designs. I'm not happy having my name on it. That's uncomfortable, but that's the bottom line, is I make the jewelry. They are my designs, and I'm not going to call it, for me, I'm not going to call it like Butterflies and Ladybugs, you know. But maybe if you're designing jewelry or another product for little kids and your predominant theme is nature, you would call yourself Butterflies and Ladybugs. I don't know. Another thing to think about is the availability of your company name for a website. And if it's already taken, are you going to have to severely abridge the name of your company? Are you going to have to put .tv or .info or .net on the end of it? Because I don't recommend that. You really want to have a .com. And you don't want to have to come up with some crazy spelling. So I've had people say like, well, should I spell it? People have asked me if they should spell their company, you know, something in a unique way. And my answer is always no, or a play on words. Because when people hear the name of your company and they go to do an internet search on it, a Google search, whatever they're doing these days, it's not going to pop up if it's some crazy, weird spelling. Ultimately, you may become known for that, and so that's great, but you're going to have to do a lot of work behind the scenes building the brand so that people know exactly how to do it. A great example of this, I think, is Boon. Boon is a modern children's manufacturer out of Tempe, Arizona. They're phenomenal. They're a great company to study in terms of brand building and company building. They've been around for quite some time. But one of the things I think is interesting about them is their name is Boon, B-O-O-N, but their website is, I guess boon.com was taken, so it's booninc.com, which you wouldn't necessarily think. Now, if you Google Boon baby products, you'll come to their website, but over time, people have gotten to know them. Their search engine optimization is phenomenal. So if you search Boon baby products, or even if you search modern baby products, booninc.com is really, really high in the search engine rankings. So they've done a really good job with that, and they've made it work for them. Also with social media, so Twitter, if your handle is 100 characters long, then people only have 40 characters with which to work if they want to tag you in a post. So keep that in mind when you're creating your company name. What's your social media handle going to be? Is it memorable? Is it short? Is it consistent with your brand? Because you want people to be able to retweet you, and you want people to be able to tag you in posts without running out of characters. And the third thing that I think is really important to think about when you're coming up with a name is, are you going to expand your business? So if you name your company Bob's Bow Ties, and you think there's the possibility, however remote, that at some point you might want to add something other than bow ties to your brand, yes, you could have a different company altogether. But wouldn't it just be easier if you were Bob's Accessories, or Bob's Designs, or Bob's? I don't know. And then you can continue to add whatever you want down the line. That's an area where I made a little bit of an error, because when I first started, I had no idea that I was going to end up doing all the different things that I ended up doing. So it would have been much easier if I had had an umbrella name that was more of an umbrella that everything could go under. And that didn't really work out that way. My businesses are all very different from one another, so I've made it work. But ultimately, they're all going to have to roll up under one umbrella. So those are my greatest suggestions, having done this for naming a company. But my greatest suggestion of all is to just name the company. Absolute worst case scenario, you can change it later. I don't advise it. It's not pleasant. You've got websites, you've got social media, you've got literature and etc. Logos. You know, it's not ideal. But absolute worst case scenario, if the business goes gangbusters and you just hate the name, you can change it. I've seen it done many, many times, and I've seen it done very successfully. So leave a comment underneath this post as to what influenced, what's your company name? What influenced you to name it that way? Has that worked out for you? Would you do it differently next time? And leave some feedback for others who are clearly struggling with this issue. Thanks. I'm going back into the studio now. Have a great day.